Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the agenda review. We got a cast of thousands in the audience today because there's some important things that are happening. I'll turn it over to Tim. We're going to have Mike Helpers talk, and then Brandy Bailey is going to give an update also. So, Tim, it's up to you.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. First off, we're going to have Mike Helpers, our CIO, talk about the CrowdStrike impact on the county.
Morning, Mike.
Good morning, commissioners. Yeah, so it's been a long night. We have a software that we run that updated, excuse me, automatically about 11:30 last night. The vendor released some updates for it. And that had a negative impact on all Windows devices, not just for Sedgwick County, but worldwide. There are a few computers that avoided that update, but I would say roughly 75–80% of our workstations received the update. It blue screened, we actually call it a blue screen of death, or BSOD, to where the computers weren't usable and had to be manually touched in order for them to be usable again. We have different levels of operating systems and different levels of, within those different versions of the operating systems. So there are a little bit different processes for each. We have locally encrypted drives on our mobile units. So it's there's a few variables to getting them all fixed, but we're making good progress on them. My staff has been up. Some I spoke with this morning that haven't slept at all last night. So this happened about 11:30 last night, and they've been working through the night. I had others join as early as 2:30, just throughout the morning. And so all of them that are here are on the ground. They are focused on public safety first. We've gotten several locations back up and running of those public safety, the EMS posts, the fire stations, this type of thing, the sheriff, the jail, CAD. We focused on the operations at the main courthouse for the courts and the district attorney. This building, the admin building, the Reagan building, we've leveraged some IT staff in some of our CommCare department and some of our health department and our corrections department, and departmental staff, non-IT staff, have really stepped up to help us as well. So we've appreciated the help. We've appreciated all the effort that staff have put into this, and we're making good progress.
Well, Mike, the very first notice that the commission received was at 1:03 this morning when we got a text, and we got a number of texts beyond that. So we've been apprised of it all night long, but we had the luxury of staying at home in bed and just getting texts. Your folks worked all night long, and we thank them so much for the work and the impact that they've had. The critical thing was getting CAD back up right away, getting all of our public services and safety back up and running, and you've done a great job of that. And congratulations to what you all have done on it. From discussions with you and other folks, what I understand is there's just a very, very small file that had a problem, and in order to fix that, you've got to touch each and every individual machine. You can't push a change out. So that's what's causing some of the delay. And it's not just Sedgwick County, it's everyone that's operating on that system. So again, I want to thank you very much. We've also have Brandy Bailey in the room from the tag off from Treasurer, and I'd like her to give an update because we also have the tag offices closed today, and she's going to explain why. And it's not our issue because your staff did a great job, and we're up and operational. So. Brandy, can you give us an update?
Yes. Good morning, commissioners. Brandy Bailey, County Treasurer. So this morning we got a message that the tag office was down. And so my chief deputies and we went straight to Douglas tag office first thing and got IT over there to help us. And so 5 or 6 of us went around to the tag offices and manually touched each computer, got those up. So the tag offices, the computers are back up with county software, but unfortunately the motor vehicle system is on the state software. And at this moment, the state has not gotten their stuff up and running. So therefore we are not able to open the offices because of the state system still being down. And the plan is to keep the tag off the doors closed until we have that up and running, because I don't want people just coming and sitting in the office and just sitting there all day and then we may not be able to help them today. Q-List system, which is our virtual waiting room, we've closed that down for the day, so they can't get in. Once we get notification that the state is back up and running, we'll test it just to make sure we can get, and then we will open the doors. And today will probably just be more of a first come, first served basis. Derby Tag Office, that's by appointment only, and there are appointments filled for the entire day. And at this moment, that office is still down too because state system. So we're just, right now, we're at the mercy of the state to getting their system back up and running until I can get the tag offices opened at this time.
Well, thank you for the update. And Mike, again, thank you. Our staff is working diligently and we'll get our systems back up, but it's not just Sedgwick County, it's worldwide. Anyone have any questions for Mike or Brandy? Okay. Thank you all. We appreciate it. All right, Mr. Kaufman, I guess we're here for agenda review.
Okay, let's do agenda review. We'll start off with county announcements.
Hi, everyone. Stephanie Bergman with Communications. We're going to talk about elections again. Satellite voting centers open on July 30th. We also have 28 new polling sites, so a lot of residents will have new assigned locations. We have a video we're going to play that tells folks how to double check their polling location. We're going to remind folks about the public budget hearing coming up the evening of July 31st. The Register of Deeds is going to be at the Veterans Awareness Expo on August 3rd to file DD 214s. We'll talk more about that. And then in county good news, we've had some glowing praise for our Department of Aging. And we're going to have Emily Jensen, who's Director of Mobility, talk about some of that and the transportation services they offer. And that's it.
Super. Thanks, Stephanie. And I should mention that Commissioner Beatty, our chairman, is online, coming in by Zoom, and Sarah, Commissioner Lopez will be coming in by Zoom also. And back to you.
Okay, thanks. We've got two proclamations. One of those, again, references that Veterans Expo. And then we get into the regular agenda items. We've got appointments. We've got one appointment, and then we get into new business. And item E is a resolution that will kind of kick off the acquisition process for a county admin building. And Lindsay's here if there are any questions about that. Okay. Another new agenda item is a report of bids and contracts. And we've got one item that is on consent right now that we will pull up. It is item N. So the lease for ComCare Children's Program, we're going to do that on new business as well. And then we get into the consent agenda. We've got three different easements related to floodplain work. Lynn's here if there are any questions about those three. Those are all in District 3. Any questions there? Okay. We've got then three different rezoning issues, and I don't know if there are any questions about that. Any questions about those three?
If any commissioners have a question on anything?
Okay, we're moving right along here.
In case the press, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you, but if the press has questions, as soon as we get finished with this, you could ask questions of Mike Elpers or anyone else. So we might catch the TV station that left if someone from communications couldn't talk. Let's see if they have questions at the end.
Busy and might take off after this meeting.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
No concerns. Item M is, or M is an grant application for it's part of the larger community grant application for HUD for homeless services, and ComCare's got an application that becomes part of that larger community application. Item N is that lease that we talked about that we'll discuss that as regular business. Item O has been removed. We're not going to do item O because that application, we won't be participating in that. Item P is a request for a letter of support and participation to do some support for Kansas airports, and you may have some information about it if you'd like to share that.
Commissioner Meitzner and I were both on a meeting yesterday about the Air Service Committee Task Force dealing with air service. And these two items that we're talking about on consent, in case we have any questions on Wednesday, well, you'll be gone, won't you? I can help answer that, but Commissioner Meitzner might have some things to add. But if you go back in time a little bit and recall, we gave a letter of support and pledged some funding for air service to Washington, D.C. And we got that without having to spend any money on it. So it was great. So we can forget about that air service request. So then started looking at two other locations. One was someplace in New York, one of the three major airports, and the other was going into Charlotte. Before that, you can get a grant approved. You can try, but the only way to get it approved is if you have an airline that says that they'll fly there. And we couldn't get any airlines to say that they would fly to New York. So that one is off the books right now. We're just kind of in a holding pattern until an airline says that they want to do that. And that would have been a federal grant that we'd have had some matching funds in order to move forward. But the neat thing is that another opportunity has come available to us through the state, and it's a state grant, and it would get us so that we could fly to Charlotte. And Charlotte's important because they have 675 daily flights in and out of there. They have 175 different destinations that they fly to. So it opens up the Eastern Corridor a lot more for us. So what they're looking for and what this and international and down in the Caribbean, over into Europe, they fly a lot of different places. So it is an important hub for us to get into. American Airlines has said that they would fly into there. So we've got an airline that's going to go. And what they're looking at is to a matching pledge for the state of Kansas in order to be able to make this happen. So that's what the entire purpose of this is for, is for us, first of all, to send a letter of support. But then just as we did before, where we didn't expend any money, we're going to pledge some funding. This time it's $50,000. Last time it was $150,000. So it's a little bit cheaper also, but it's a pledge. And if it moves forward and they need the funding, that's when the pledge would come into effect. So that's really what happened yesterday. Do you have anything you want to add, Commissioner?
Yeah. Revenue guarantee escrow account that if the airline makes so much, then it's never touched. But if there's a gap, especially the first year when they're trying to build up ridership, that's when it would come into play. Usually year two is stabled out. They decide to keep going or not.
Yeah. And from the number of people that fly into that area, they do a lot of analysis. The airport authority does a tremendous amount of analysis. And from the number of people that would use that, I don't know that we'd ever get to the point where we'd have to guarantee the revenue. So it's a win for this area. Anyway, I wanted to make sure everybody knew about why that was added. This is not on our agenda, I don't think, when we saw the first draft, but we had to add it after the meeting yesterday.
Correct.
Thank you, Tim.
Item Q is similar to other resolutions that we've done. It's part of the opioid settlement. This happens to be the Kroger response. And so for us to participate in receiving those funds as part of the opioid settlement, there's a resolution where we do. And then R&S and everything else is routine business after that.
Very good. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Any commissioners online have any questions? Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Doesn't look like it.
We've got both Commissioner Lopez and Commissioner Beatty online. All right. Very good. Well, we'll let Mike go back to work. He's got more important things to do to sit here and listen to us. Thank you all.
Thank you.
We're adjourned.